view that I could get on this. First, let me do a regular view. So I apologize for that. Yep, I'm waiting for a few people to come on, maybe. Hey there. Oh, to figure out how to do like the side view because it wouldn't let me start that way. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? How's everybody today? Let's see if I can. Oh, don't know why I can't. I don't know why I can't see the chat down below. Anyway, I'll get better at this. How's everyone? I know I was saying that I'd like to go live on a particular day. It doesn't really have to be Wednesdays. It can be any day, so you can leave me your thoughts, and it can be any time. I would just try to be consistent when I do it so people know. Oh, storms. Okay. Well, Dart, take your time. I mean, I'm gonna be here for a few minutes anyway, until you all get bored. um, um, it's funny because once I started watching this, I realized that I was reading a question actually on Facebook under the Flippin' Fab YouTubers, and someone had left a question and said, that they wanted to do both restoration and building furniture, but when they were building furniture, they found it difficult to remember that the camera was going and they had to keep stopping and setting it up, and it was just interfering with their, their flow and their creativity, and like, what could they do about that? And I did leave an answer to the question. Because I always have opinion. It may not be right and you may not agree with me, but what I wrote back was to say, first of all, don't give up, because the more you do it, and I'm sure people have been doing YouTubes for a while, they understand that, like, you'll just get into the flow of things, or your creativity's there, and you forget that the camera is going, but it does get more natural over time, and you will start to remember. And I found one thing that helped me was to, first of all, to get 2 camera booms. So I would have one high and one low. That way, if I want to switch camera views, I don't have to completely take down one camera holder and put it on another. I just have the 2 that I can switch off. Even still, sometimes I don't bother. Sometimes I actually do end up switching it. But it's more natural for me to do it now, and it doesn't interrupt my flow like it used to. Another thing you can do, if you have the resources, is you could use 2 cameras. You can set up one camera, at one particular view, and another camera, up high or wherever, and you can just leave them going and say check them like every 15 minutes or half hour. I don't know how long they run. But until you get used to using the camera and the video and being recorded. So that's what I said. I don't know. When you go on to Flippin' Fab YouTubers, if you do, it's a Facebook group. Leave your thoughts for that person as well, and leave them here. Yeah, because we all have different ideas on what to do. So let's see. Wendy says, "Cat, get closer to the camera. Is not strong enough to pick up your voice that well." Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Um, I don't know if I can. I mean, is that better, Wendy? I don't know, if it's the, let me just try and actually shut this off. Maybe it's the fact that I have 2 things going. I don't know. Can you hear that okay? Let's see. I bought a gimbal, and this is Dar. I bought a gimbal and it's supposed to allow the camera to follow you. Oh my goodness. Through that on time. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can put my glasses on. I don't have glasses near me. Let's see. The software, but as usual, no time to figure out yet. And Dar hears me pretty good. Okay, okay. Keep talking to me and letting me know if you can hear me. The glasses, right? Oh, good, Stephanie. So I hope everybody is well. Thank you so much. I didn't think anybody would show up to this. Yeah, and so what else? I mean, I sure don't know everything. Just always have an opinion, and a lot of times when I'm watching videos and Stephanie says I have pain management, we're just waiting for the doctor to sign a letter so that they can schedule my surgery. Oh, well, I pray for that, Stephanie. Yeah, absolutely. This has been a long haul for you, so yep, prayers that you get it all settled. The gimbal was from Amazon, Dar says, maybe $70. Yeah, that's, wow, that's not really expensive. It depends on, especially with Amazon, most people have like the credit card so they can kind of put off the payment for a minute. But yeah, I've been trying to just make it work with what I have. And, I really do believe that the longer you do it, if you just stick with it, the better you'll get. So for sure, just don't give up. Stephanie says it's been a long road. And yep, I think we all agree, Stephanie, it's been a long road for you. And we all wish you the best. For questions. So, like I said, I almost always have an opinion. I don't give it though unless someone literally asks for an opinion. If someone just asks the broad audience, do you have a thought? But I would never go on somebody's YouTube and I shouldn't say never. I have done that, but it's more rare, and for me, it's hard to find that tone that it doesn't feel like you're just being bossy. You know what I mean? So it's really difficult. Dar says explain toners. Oh, yeah, I love toners. Stephanie says, I'm so happy I found you on YouTube. Oh, we're happy we found you too. Oh, God bless you, Stephanie. Yep. I mean, you're one of us, right? You're one of our peeps. Toners. I love toners. They solve a multitude of problems. They are tricky to use. They're tricky to use. It's almost like A to Z quickly. In other words, you put that toner down and it's down there. So you literally have to sand it off. You really have to get good with like a very light spray. So in a nutshell, when I use toners, I use them after I've done all my other color corrections. So let's start with a piece of raw wood. If I have a piece of raw wood, I do some conditioning to it, often with shellac, but not always. It depends on the condition of the wood. But let's say in the best case scenario, you have a piece of wood, say it's a piece of maple, because maple can be really tricky to stain. Very pieces in it that absorb. I am in my, next time maybe I'll go up to the house. No, it's me, honey. It's me because I'm in the barn and I'm bouncing off of my connection from home, so it's not always consistent. If it doesn't work up here, next week I'll do it right at the house so that I'm not losing connection. When I'm on the mountain, it's, my house is on the mountain, but it gets a better connection. Uh, okay, great, great. So anyway, prep your wood with whatever you're going to use. Do your stain. Get it as good as you can get. Try your first clear coat. Not lacquer, but say you put a coat of shellac and see how that looks. And then take a look at it. And that's when I use a toner, because the wood already has a good substrate of color, and I'll be able to see exactly where I'm missing color. Often with oak too, right? Because you'll have, if a piece is built with several separate pieces of oak, there's going to be a couple that have a naturally lighter finish. It depends on how close they are to the. It's at least $18 for a can of toner, and could be more. I like Mohawk. They have a lot of different colors. Um, it's a little hard. I believe that's a Canadian company, and you can't buy a lot of colors on Amazon, so you're going to pay full price and you're going to have them shipped. Unless you have a place nearby that actually carries Mohawk, that's ideal. I don't, so it's tricky for me to find it. But all toners are the same. They're just very, very saturated and they're very opaque. So take your toner can and spray it somewhere where you're, on a surface, a practice piece of wood, and just get used to pushing down the top of the can and spraying across, and get used to it. Waste a little material and practice with it first, and then stand at least 12 inches away, if not 18 inches, a good foot and a half, and just start before your wood. Say your wood's here, start here, spray quickly, and just let it go. And let the material drop onto the surface of the wood. Don't go right away to do another spray. Wait and take a good look at it and see what you've got. Do you have to change colors? Or is that a good color and you probably only need 2 sprays. Now I've done it in places where I've needed a lot of toner. And so you will find that. And you can sand it down and stuff, but like I say, if you get one spot on it like that, it's going to show. It's just going to show. Really, really practice with your hand motion. Did I answer that? Your use of toners is one thing that amazes me about you. No, practice. Is it expensive to practice? A little bit, a little bit. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and something and get a store brand toner and practice with it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's all in the motion. It's windy here too. Stephanie says, I would take living on a mountain and bad Wi-Fi over living in the city any day. Oh, I hear you. Yeah, me too, Stephanie. I don't think I could fare very well in a city. Yeah, I'm definitely a mountain girl. Now, I love the beach, and, my home area in Massachusetts, I was between the beach and the mountains, so I had easy access to both. And I love the beach, but yeah, I'm really a mountain girl. So toner on shellac, but not lacquer. And lacquer is kind of a hard finish. Just say you can use it on lacquer, but if you're going to have to sand something down, it's easy to make a mistake with toner. A lot of times you'll have to sand it down. That lacquer enamel finish is really, really hard. So yeah, I would avoid using like the urethanes and really hard finishes. Shellac is very forgiving and comes off easily. You don't even really have to sand it. You can use a little denatured alcohol to remove your shellac. So yeah, it's kinder. Yeah. Yep. And practice, practice, practice. Stephanie says, I met Richard when we both lived up on Yosemite. I was working in the park. Oh, that sounds awesome. I was going to say awful. That sounds awesome. Yeah. My oldest son is a huge Western person. He loves going to like Northern California and Utah and Arizona and um, yeah, New Mexico. He's really into that. He could live in the desert states easily. Yeah, Stephanie, I'm looking back. It's me. I every once in a while lose connection, so next time I will go back up to the house and I'll do my streaming from there so that I don't lose people. Toner is really tricky. What else have we got? Yeah, so what else have we got? Um, yeah, I'm here by my window, so kind of close to the Wi-Fi, but it's down the hill. My house is lower in the valley, but it's still, and we're not high. This is called the Appalachian Ledge for anybody who's interested. It's like if you look on Google Earth, on the East Coast, you'll see the Appalachian Trail area, the Appalachian Mountain Range, and in our area that goes probably, I want to say, into Maryland, West Virginia and Virginia on the eastern side of Virginia. And it literally looks like it looks like frosting, and somebody took their fingers and went like this and just kind of swooped down it. And that's the Appalachian Ledge. Yeah, I'm not far from the Appalachian Trail. And there's a trail right here. People often walk by, and I can hear them up the mountain a little bit. Place to have a business. How we doing? Yeah, and it's pretty at this time of year too. We get a lot of tourists, uh, leaf peeping here. So actually, in a few weeks, I'm going to do something fun. I have a fun road trip planned, and that is I'm going to go and visit the dark sky in Pennsylvania, and it is in Susquehannock. Um, I believe that's in Susquehannock state forest, I believe. I don't think it's a national forest. I think it's a state forest. And it's if you look at a dark sky map, there are dark skies all over the place around the world. And that's one that's very close to me. And yeah, so if you go up there, you can, take photos at night. You're not allowed to put your lights on at night and so forth and so on. And then from there, I'm going to drive down what they call the Mid-Atlantic back road discovery route, just in Pennsylvania. So I'll take a ride down. It's through the mountains on that side. So a little different mountain range looking than here. We have a particular look here. We're low and we're steep and very rocky. So what other questions do we have? Any questions? It can be anything. Um, whatever, whatever. And what else can I talk about? The thing with the cameras I thought was really interesting. I'm sure all of us have found video to be very challenging. Do I prefer hide glue or wood glue? That's such an awesome question. Thank you, Stephanie. Um, so I would use hide glue on any restoration at a section that is not a real joint. And so I can dive down into that a little bit more. So hide glue is great for attaching veneer to the substrate surface. The good thing about hide glue is it can reactivate really easily. Scrape it off nice and easily with your scrapers and stuff to reapply it. Wood glue can be removed as well, but it's much more difficult, and you could mar your surface more easily if you're using wood glue when you're trying to remove it. But wood glue, even epoxies, if it's in a jointed area that's needed for stability. So if you're working on your legs, if you break the leg of a piece or something like that and you need stability, always use either a wood glue or an epoxy glue. And I almost always go for an epoxy glue. Hide glue, where else do I use hide glue? Mostly veneer. Anything that, say you broke a drawer. I don't usually use a wood glue on the pieces of the drawer. I use hide glue because the chances are it might loosen again. And I don't want someone to struggle and perhaps break the dovetails. Say it has dovetails, and they come apart again. If it's done with wood glue, there's a better chance that you'll break the wood on the dovetails when you're taking it apart and trying to put it back together again. So hide glue is kinder. You just put some heat on it and it will separate, and you can reapply it and put it back together and clamp it. So hopefully that answers a little bit of that question. Hide glue has to be heated too. I think that Tite Bond makes a hide glue that comes in a liquid form. So, and shellac, why shellac and not lacquer? Shellac is a natural finish. It's a good restoration product. So it's been used for a few hundred years at least. It comes from I think it's from in whatever way, I'm not really sure, but it's called a lac bug. And the lac bug creates this resin. I don't know whether it's like, something somehow it exudes from that lac bug, or it's somehow broken down in the, possibly in the shell of the lac bug. I'm not really sure about that. But in that way, it's natural. It can be reactivated. It's super forgiving. If you get a little bump in your shellac, and it's not an old bump. When you're putting on shellac and you have it even happens sometimes when you're spraying it. If you spray it on, you get a drip sometimes because it's very, very liquid. Or you're putting on the liquid shellac and somehow it creates a drip somewhere. It might have a little bit of a buildup in one spot and you can see it in certain lights. If you take new shellac and spray it on there and rub it down, you rub apart that shellac and it will rebond to each other if it's not old. If it is older, you can take some denatured alcohol and you can rub it with denatured alcohol and remove it that way. Also, if you have an old drip that's created like a little bubble, you can remove that with your razor, a flat edge of the razor, and you just, you slice it off. It'll leave a little bit of a divot possibly, so you can take some denatured alcohol, give it a little rub, respray it with shellac, and you won't even see it. Shellac, you can go over it with your 3 or 4 odd steel wool and just create a nice surface again. And it's very, very forgiving. Lacquer is a much stronger finish. It's a better finish for stability. So I'll give it that. You know, if you have a piece that's totally finished and you know you don't want to do any other um, touch-ups to it or anything like that, going over it with a lacquer is great, especially if you have, like if you can see in the background, there's a couple of stools back here. Those are done with lacquer. Because, you know, when you're using a stool, you're going to spill on it, you know, you're going to bump it or whatever. You don't want to have a soft finish. That's my downfall. I wouldn't say it's for everybody to use shellac. Some people may not like it because they just feel that they need a tougher surface. When I'm doing a piece, I always give people a little spreadsheet, and it's you know, how to care for your finish, and it tells them what not to do. Because I don't want any surprises. And if somebody has a problem, I'll fix it for them. I'm not very tight like that. If, you know, even if they did it themselves, say they bumped it, yeah, bring it back. You know, I'll touch it up for them as best I can and try to make it right. But some people are just harder on furniture than others. So if you're going to be hard on something, if it's a dining room table, say, you may, I always suggest that you use like a polyurethane. And I rarely do a dining room table. And when I do, it's usually a restoration. So I would never use polyurethane personally. What I would tell a person is when it gets to the point that you need it to be touched up again, bring it in. And you can take down that surface easily, you know, do your colors and all that easily. You don't have to remove the entire finish. So that's really a matter of preference, and it's just mine. Yeah. And I think I said that you have to heat the hide glue. You can mix your own hide glue. You can get the um, little particles and dissolve it in denatured alcohol, kind of like shellac. But you can buy it. I use Old Brown glue, and it comes in a bottle, and it's like a thick liquid. It's not totally hard, but it's not good right out of the bottle. You have to put it. Some people have. What's good to have is an old crock pot, and just leave some water in it during the day when you're working, and just plop your bottle of hide glue. If you're going to be doing restoration, just leave your hide glue in that water during the day, and you don't have to worry about heating it up, you know. But it really only takes a few minutes to soften it. I don't have a crock pot in here. I use my microwave, and I just heat up some water, and then I plop my hide glue in it. Let me see if I have all the, yeah. What else? I think my neighbor is, he's playing guitar. Believe it or not, I have one little neighbor up here. He built a little building right next to my barn, and we're both like in the alley. He's a musician, and he practices up there. So, yeah. I really wanted to do like a sneak peek of the project that I'm working on for this week. I'm afraid if I move my setup here that I'll just lose connection. Yeah. You can see behind me here, right there, there's an old rocking chair. I'm going to do that someday. The wood is actually fine. It's just that the seat is a spring seat, and I've never done one of those. So that will be a learning curve for me. And I'm not sure yet if I would try to um, repair the spring setup the way it was originally done, or whether I would just remove it and do a like the webbing. I think I'm probably going to go with the webbing. So in that way, I won't keep it original, but it's really a beautiful rocking chair, but you can't give them away. I actually had that rocking chair on Facebook Marketplace for free. I had the first person that wanted it never showed up. The second person that wanted it came down, took a look at it, and decided, when I explained that it was, not in perfect condition, but she took a look at it and said, "Oh, but it needs a seat." I mean, the seat is actually intact, but it's flattened. It's not as comfortable as it could be. And I said, I just looked at it with this longing look in my eyes and said, "But it's free." And she still didn't want it. So I said, "You know what? It's going to go up in the barn, and I'm going to do it as a project sometime and let you see me bump along and do something I don't have any idea how to do." So there's that. Yeah. I think this was really cool. I mean, we've been on here a little bit longer than half an hour, and I'm psyched. Um, yeah, let me know if it's helpful. I'll try to keep my mind open to things that I see during the week. And like today, I just happened to find that Facebook post. So yeah, I'll see things. I'll write them down so that I don't forget that I actually wanted to talk about that. And bring your questions, bring your thoughts. It doesn't even have to be a question. You can call and say, "Hey, you know, I I have this suggestion for everyone," or "You know what I'd love to do someday when I get better at this kind of thing is we could do like a side by side video with like others, whoever wants to pop in and share a screen. Wouldn't you love to do that? That would be so, so fun." If you've ever seen, I don't know if you do you know uh, Debbie's Design Diary? I know, Dar, so fun. Debbie's Design Diary. Debbie Beard used to go on with, oh, what's her name? Ki, Kita, I think what is her name? Um, she never really had a YouTube channel, but she used to go on with her camera. I think she does Instagrams and stuff, but this girl who was actually in Texas, and not Debbie, um, Dion. Dion, do you know Dion? She uses the DIY paint. She's a friend of Debbie's. She does a lot of like really colorful, creative things. If you haven't watched her, Dar, you have to look for her because she is right up your alley with the colors, and she's lovely and she's fun and creative. And she used to go on with this other girl, and they would do a side by side. And for some reason, these two women just had such a funny reaction off of each other. Like, I think her name is Kita, begins with a Q. She is really funny, like, just has a funny personality. And Dion was very, very straight. And so, but the two of them together, it was hilarious, and I would laugh and laugh and laugh. And this was like years ago. It was so funny. And I thought, wow, I'd love to find somebody that I got along with like that and could entertain. It was hilarious, really hilarious. But yeah, let's figure out how to do that, Dar. That would be so fun. Really fun. People don't do that much anymore. I've seen other people do that too. Brandy used to do it with um, Bella Renovari. Why am I not thinking of her name? Oh, yeah, you know who I mean. Um, there's like an apostrophe in her name. And they were cute too. It was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. If you have any, Kristana, yeah, Kristana, thank you. It takes two, right? I need another brain, at least another half, if not three quarters, to help me out during the day at least. Um, yep, Kristana, she's so fun too, and they had a good um, rapport, and they were fun to watch. So if you have any other questions, throw them up. If not, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was fun. I plan to do it again next Wednesday, and like I say, I'll do it from the house so that I get a better connection. I still have things over there that I can, like surfaces. I have a lot of old furniture over there, so if I needed to explain something with a piece of furniture, I could find a piece to show you. Interestingly, I don't always refinish my own furniture. I tend to leave it old and bumpy and raw. And then I also have some painted pieces too. I have a little bit of everything in my house. So yeah, thank you again. I hope you have a blessed week. Um, be well, everyone. I wish you all good and beautiful things. That's my motto. It's been my motto for so long. Do you want to know where that came from before I go? That motto, wishing you all good and beautiful things? Or do you want me to wait for next week? I think I'll wait for next week. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.